now let me show you how like we are creating a modal. So as I already told you, here if I'm opening the widget, so you can see I have created report details. This is actually the modal which I have created, right? The widget in the widgets. So now with this report details, like we will be going after this one, but let me show you how we created this modal. Now if I'm selecting any row, right, so if I'm selecting any row, so you are noticing like the modal is opening. So how this is opening, like here in AppSmith we have on row selected event, right? So what I did actually, on row on report row click dot store item, this I actually created a JavaScript object here. If I can show you here, okay, so this is on report row click. So this is actually I have created a JavaScript object here, and inside this, like if you can create new one, so automatically this export default and kind of things are coming. So I've created this array arrow function, and inside that arrow function I am calling reports of an entity API programmatically. So now on whenever user click on any list item, so this store item ID will be hit, right? This method will be invoked. After invocation of this method, I am calling the API. You can see here this reports of an entity API, this one, third one, get API. So I am calling this API, right, dot run. So this is actually the way if you want to programmatically call a data source API. So here you can see like the name of your queries or API dot run, right? Then after I have opened a success clause dot then. So when the reports of an entity API successfully run, so then it will be like after 500 milliseconds it will going to open a modal. So this show modal is also the method by AppSmith. So here you only have to pass your modal name which you want to open, this show modal, right? So these are actually the predefined things from like provided by AppSmith. So if I can show you inside the reports, above in widgets you can see report underscore details. This is actually the modal I have created, right? So now in the row report click, I am consuming an API for detail page. If it runs successfully, then I am opening a modal, show modal. If you want to hide a modal programmatically, so you have to call hide modal and to pass the modal name, right? So reports of an entity API, this API consists of this is another curl request which I got from my backend developer. So I have created a new query here, right? So after creating the new query, so this consists of this entity ID, like assuming that from my reports I have clicked on third one, right? So third one I have clicked. So now what I am doing, if I can show you here, get reports dot data. If you can go here dot data, like if you can go any one of them, so I can show you there is an entity ID coming. Okay, so this is the entity ID. You can see it's been coming for every record of these listing, right? So reports of an entity API, I said here through the AppSmith you can directly bind an object key here. I have did for report listing dot. Report listing is actually what? Report listing is the name of my table, which like this widget. The name of this widget is report listing, if you can see here, right? Report listing. So I am saying to this API like the widget which is for the listing widget dot selected row. So selected row is a predefined key which we are getting from in AppSmith. So I am saying to my API like report listing is a table, so whatever the row is selected from that table, get the entity ID from there, and this is actually being passed in my detail API. So once I pass, like when I'm clicking on this report, either I'm clicking on this report or I'm clicking on the view button, so the row is selected. Which row is selected? If I'm clicking on this third one, so third one is selected, and the entity ID is going for that detail ID, and after 500 milliseconds API is successful and this modal is been opening and showing all of the data here. So this is how we are actually been covering. We are opening the detail modal. So anything else you want to ask? All things are clear, or any questions you guys have?